Okay, YouTubers, got the mag loop updated here a little bit. I'll step you through what I did. Went ahead and added a better coupler here. Updated this one. I also added more space between here and here. After I put this new coupler in, what this does is it gives me more thicker. This is 1.5 inches and this is 1.25 inches. By adding the reducer in, it doubles the thickness and makes it stronger. And then of course down there is everything's the same down there as it was. Same thing there, 1.5 inch coupler to 1.25 inch pipe. And we did what I did do was I added a tuning rig now so that it slides up and down for adjusting the standing wave, because I did put in a transmitting capacitor. It might not do 100 watts. I don't know. I've got to see if the thickness between the fans is going to be enough. 50 watts should be no problem out of it. It works great as a receive. You can see tonight the 40 meter is really kicking. That's all CW. That's amazing. That's all CW. And of course quite a few stations on tonight. I was kind of listening in, tuning up the antenna. Got the cap on the top now. Removed most of the glue around the top now, for adding the tuner here. You can also spin this, okay, like such, and it helps couple to this back ring here and to this front one. So I haven't tried transmitting or anything with it yet. And you can see if I lower it down, that's a pretty good gap right there. Doesn't really affect it. Still the same. This is where our main peak is at. I tune it right in the middle of the band. That's the main peak from the loop. You can tell by the decibel level there. It's just outlandish. But yeah, you can adjust this, and it doesn't seem to affect it until you get it pretty far down. When it gets pretty far down, you can tell it uncouples from the loop. But that's pretty much it. The cable runs down and connects now to the motor, and like I said, I added a bigger gap here, a little bit further gap now. Help from flashing over or arcing over from transmitting on it. I'm eventually going to weatherproof it. This is going to be part 3, showing the higher strength. And I did also, I'll show you here, I did get a new in the box, new old stock 10-100, basically a 10 to 100 puff variable capacitor. Nice. It's a dual gain. It's got 2. So what I did, I coupled them together. Just run a wire all the way across there. And what I did was I mounted it right there temporarily, and I was tuning with it. But it's with that big Mondo capacitor there. This one here just put it over the top. It's just almost too much capacitance. What happened was, I'll show you on the screen, it drove the spike right here all the way up here and almost killed my SDR. I reached down and touched the SDR, and it was just burning hot. So it definitely affected it. And it was weird. I had secondary peaks like this one come up, and it was just too much capacitance, and it didn't go as far in the band, up on the band, as it did before, just by running the single one. So the 2 capacitor idea, I'm gonna cancel that out and work on weatherproofing it. It needs to be weatherproofed so that I can at least get it outside and get a little bit better reception. I'll show you a trick. This is really cool. That right there is where I just touched it. That's how sensitive it is. That's a really high Q. That means it's super high Q. But I'll show you. You can see the way it's oriented now. It's basically facing east and west. East and west is this way. So north is that way. I'm going to turn it, because this is why I want to get it outside. I want to get it on a rotor. But I'll turn it here for you. And now we'll face it east and west. Look at what happens to the noise level. Look at that noise coming in. That's just extra noise. And that where that's coming from is my neighbor over here. He's got switching transformers plugged in right on this opposite wall. And I realized the noise level. But this is another reason why you want a magnetic loop. I'm just running this inside and getting this kind of reception. Sitting right here. Now I just turned it back, and you can see the noise level drop. Now you can see the signals coming in versus the noise. So that's what you really got to get rid of, and this magnetic loop helps you get rid of that noise, so you can actually see your signals coming in. These are all peaks of signals. This is all CW on 40 meters. That's all CW. That's a lot of CW. This is a shortwave, 2 shortwave radio stations, and you can see how close 40 meters comes in. These are guys on 40 right here talking right now. But you can see that difference in that noise level, but just by turning that antenna, orientating it back east to west. And where it receives is from this way. It does not receive from this way. This is the null right here. This is the quiet area. You will not, if you've got noise this way or that way, you won't hear it. And that's why running a magnetic loop is a lot better. You can just you can rotate it. It acts as a directional antenna, and you can transmit if you build it right. If you build it with a transmitting capacitor, which is what that is, you can transmit. You just gotta be aware of arcing. You can't have things really close together. Most of your RF, if you're transmitting about 10 watts, you're looking at about 10,000 right there volts coming through that right there. You don't want to touch that. You'd have a bad day. But you have to be careful of flashover. You got to insulate all your stuff. And this is kind of the plate side here. That's the ground side. You can see how I extra insulated with shrink tube all the way over, because you don't want arcing. And really the closest point you're going to have if you want to transmit off of a mag loop is how tight these fins are. If you got them really super close together, you're going to have flashover quick. You won't be able to run about 5 watts. The more distance you have between your fins, the least or the better, more amount of power you can run through it if you're going to transmit. Now you can transmit from inside, but it's not recommended. It's inside now because I've been working on it so long. So I'm going to eventually put a rotor on the bottom and then get it onto a metal pole. I'm going to come up with a clamp or something that will take it to metal and reinforce it. And then this will be in a weatherproof box. All that'll be in a weatherproof box, the motor and this. And I'll make that part 4 of the mag loop. And then, like I said, I'll be able to, this is how you adjust your standing wave on a mag loop. Right here. You got to pull this away and find out where your best standing wave is. That's pretty much how you got to do it with a magnetic loop antenna. So you got to make this somehow adjustable, to make it work correctly. So, like I said, that's the reason why I did that. Now, what this is a connector that will connect 1.25 inch PVC to itself, 1.25 inch. It's just basically a quick connect. And what I did was I ground out where it stops inside, ground it down with a Dremel, and then I cut it in half. And then just slipped it over this pipe. When I took it apart, I slipped it over this pipe. And then now this is adjustable. So once I get it locked in, you can see it's really kind of tough to pull down. So it should stay in its own spot, but I can always add tie wraps to it, above and below, once I get it locked in. But find out where it's totally resonant at. I'm going to do that on part 4, I think, and put it on the LNA and see when the hell it's resonant at naturally without the capacitance. But you can see it's a Mondo receive. I'll move it across for you. Let's switch it up here. And then we'll just move it across the screen there. It throws noise in there when I hit the switch, but now it's over here. You can see what it does to the CW. It just turns it all red. Anything you put in that little weak signal over there, it'll just make it red. It totally pulls anything in you want. It's a killer antenna for receive. I'm going to move it back over. Oh, a little bit more voltage. Oop, there we go. Now it's over there. As you can see, we're still getting plenty of signals through. I'll adjust it in later. But you can see the difference in the pattern. There's where it was. There's where it is. It's that big old capacitor really is what does it. That thing is monstrous. That thing's almost, I almost can't get my hand around it. But I found out it's a brand name. Let me try to get on it for you. Hammerland Manufacturing. It's a nice one. It was used apparently at one time, but the one I got here, it was new. This grounding tab has never been clamped. It was brand new like that. Somebody dropped some oil in there. I think the guy that bought it off of. But yeah, it was new, old stock. It's still in the box. Awesome. But I'm going to build another one and put this one on it. But it's a 10100 puff. Like I said, 10 gets you higher up in the band, 100 gets you lower. That the higher number gets you lower. It's kind of reversed. This one here is a 64 910 1000 basically. Gets you down to 80 real good. And then the motor itself got insulators on it right here, keep it from shorting. And I may have to lengthen that if you transmit. I don't know. Depends on how much. If that motor gets hit, I'll know it. If it arcs across there, I'll know it. But yeah, you can see I just went straight through the PVC pipe on one rod and straight through on the other. And like I said, well insulated. And then added the adjuster so we can adjust the standing wave now. So it makes an awesome receive antenna. You can see all the signals. And I can show you, I'll pull it directly off there. I'll just turn it on and you'll just see it disappear. You can see what happens to the signals. They're gone. You got just a couple coming through right there, but most of the CW is disappearing. You can see the old pattern there, and you bring the antenna back in and it becomes resonant, and here it comes. You can just see the signals climbing. Look at that. Look, see the difference in the blue screen versus now. You can see where it came in. Now look at all the signals pouring in. That's all resonant. That's what a mag loop will do for you inside. This thing is inside. So we can't wait till I get it outside. But yeah, that's why you want to build a mag loop for your receive. You just kill all the noise. When I had the long wire up, yeah, you'd see signals, but you'd just see the bare tops of them because of all the noise. And I'll show you a trick. Sorry about the camera. This remote controls some LED lights on my bar. See the lights coming on? Okay. Did you see what that does to that screen? It just turned them on. Now watch, I'll turn them on again. Look at the noise. All the signals disappeared. And all that is an LED strip that I got from Amazon to put in my glass jars. If that is on, I'm not hearing, you're not hearing nothing. It absolutely wipes that magnetic loop out. And then I'll just hit the off, and there's all your signals coming back. So that's noise. You got to find that. Took me forever to find that. I had to shut the breaker panel down, and that was the last thing pretty much I had on. And for some reason, that's what happens to them. So, but that's what noise will do to you. It'll wipe out all your signals. You'll think you're not getting nothing. But that's what your screen should look like. These are all CW. That's 1, 2. Each one of those signals is a different radio. And there's more little squeakers. If I brought it over, I can put those in the red. But every one of those peaks you see moving, it's just booming tonight. But that's like I said, that's the difference between the magnetic loop. That's why you want to run a magnetic loop. You can get rid of that noise. I had to turn it this way, got rid of a bunch of noise from my neighbor, figured out where my noise was from the lights coming in, and once you get that all figured out, you know, you figure out where your noise is, you can start really seeing where the signals are, how they're coming in. But I also was able to put in a switch. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Down there. Coax switch. Maybe not. But I was able to get a switch, so now I got the compact antenna up on the roof. That's a wide receive. I'm going to do another sharp video with showing you the capability of that antenna, because it's amazing for a 7-inch tall antenna. But yeah, this also I found out gets me noise. It's not much, but you can see if I shut it off, you can see the scatter change right there. So I've been running that just to move it, and then move the capacitor, and then I'll shut it off. And once I get the capacitor in where I need it to listen to. But you know, I wanted to show you that the new upgrade I did to this one, it made it stronger. You're doubling the material you have here and down there. Same thing. But and then adding the tuning now, so I can actually set the standing wave. Once I find out its resonance, I need to put it on the LNA and really test the resonance of it. If I remember right, when I first did it, it was really close to 2 meter. 2 meter and 900, I think. But I put the cap on the top now, help weatherproof it. Pretty much it's all weatherproofed. The only thing I gotta do is the box at the bottom now for the motor and the capacitor. And that'll be on part 4. And I'll hopefully get it outside and get it mounted. But that's the mag loop. This will be the part 3. So make sure you, if you like this, hit the subscribe button and the like. But thumbs up. So, alright, well, y'all take care, and I'll come back on part 4 for you. We'll see you at 73s.